All right, guys, what's going on? A little bit of an update on the 8.6 drift car. We had it all preparation, got it ready for put on E85 as I spoke about earlier. New fuel pump, new injectors, got it down to rev zone and put on the dyno. They did a couple runs and they said the timing was out and that we couldn't go any further and had to be fixed. So they roughly diagnosed that there was a cam gear issue, maybe it skipped a tooth or something with the timing chain. It needed to be fixed. So they quoted me roughly $2.5 grand and the engine would have to be pulled out of the car. I was speaking with my mate Heath from Rapidtune Lilydale, and he said we could probably get it done, pull the timing cover off without pulling the engine out of the car, and we would have a crack at that. So last weekend went around there, pulled the timing cover off without having to pull the engine out of the car. All we did was pull the fan shrouds off the radiator and just disconnect a few hoses, and it came off really easy actually in the end. And we found that the crank gear had snapped a tooth. I'll put a photo in here, it's pretty outrageous. So that was okay. We ordered a part, it came on Thursday, it's now Saturday. Last night I went to put the new crank gear on. We got it on, it was all good. We started putting the chains back on, and then we found that the cam gear, exhaust cam gear, I believe it was, actually had chips off the teeth, which I'll put a photo of that in here as well. And that was just absolutely outrageous. So this is all happening. It's Saturday now. We've got to get to the dyno on Monday. We've got an appointment on dyno on Monday, so we've got to try and get the car back together. So I have just gone and bought this blown bottom end knock spun bearing motor just so we can get a new gear for it. So I've just picked it up, we've got it on Gumtree. We've got to get it into Heath's workshop. I'll start pulling the timing cover off, and then hopefully that gear is in good condition and we can swap it onto the engine. It's all happening. How good are cars? I'll try to keep you guys updated. I haven't been filming any of the install or like pulling the car apart just because there's been a lot of boys around and it's been pretty hectic. So I've got photos I'll throw in, and I'll try and keep you guys updated from here. Alright, so we're down here at Rapidtune Lilydale. This is the 8.6. Timing cover is off. You can't see, but I'll put in a photo of it. This cam gear, all the teeth have been chipped. So what we did, we got this bad boy on Gumtree. So I'm gonna get into it, rip this timing cover off, and hopefully we'll be able to reuse the cam gears for that and slap it on this, and then we'll put it all back together, and then we're back on the dyno for Monday. Fingers crossed, hopefully we can get it done. We need to see this thing drifting. I'll keep you posted. Alright, so we've got the motor here, we're about to start ripping into it. Pull this timing cover off. We've got to get to this cam gear, or maybe it's this one. Hopefully that's all good, in good condition. Get it pulled off and get it put on the new car, or the same, get it put on the car. Alright, so there we have it. I've just pulled the timing cover off this donor engine that I got this morning. I did have a look at how disgusting this is. Look at that. The guy I got it off, he said he replaced the engine 5 years ago and it's just been sitting on the ground at his house. So, and he just finally decided to sell it, which was lucky because it was the only engine that was close. The only other engine was in Tassie. So it worked out well, and it was only like a 20-minute drive to pick up the engine. So rather than waiting like 6 months for that part to come, because it was really hard to get, this was $850 and we've got our cam gear, and we're ready to go to slap this thing all back together, and we're just giving it a clean now, letting it sit, and then hopefully it's all smooth sailing from here. But from what has happened so far, there's probably something else will go wrong, but keep our fingers crossed and hopefully it'll be all good. Alright, so I've just pulled the sump off. I was hoping to find a bit of metal or something that might be in there. Probably a good thing that it's not in there. It's obviously broken up and then it's come out over time. Sump's off. Big dog.
Yeah, buddy.
We'll get that all put back on, and then we'll do the timing gear and cover, and we'll be sweet to go. Alright, the time has finally come. We're about to put the timing cover back on. I've just got all this silicone put on it. Timing chain is on. That's our new gear. Everything's lined up. And we're about to put this on and see what happens. Let's go. Alright, the timing cover is on. Now we've just got to get, the timing cover has 28 bolts in it, so we've got to get all the 28 bolts all the way around, torque them up, and then we'll put, to start putting all the components back on, all the pulleys, and then last we'll do the belt.
There's every chance in the world though that I put it on my toolbox and it got thrown out. I'll just get a couple of these bolts in real quick.
Yeah. Alright, the timer's finally almost come. Got everything back together. Pulleys are on, fan shrouds back on, all the electrical shit. Fingers crossed, she all works out. Nothing goes wrong, see what happens. Alright, finally time, we're gonna try and kick it over. Everything's back together. Pull it in. So we've got the fuse out for the fuel pump, so we're just gonna try and turn it over a few times, make sure it's all good. And then after that, we'll stick the fuse back in and we'll try and get it running. So I'm gonna jump in now and give it a crack. Big dog. We are back, baby! It's all running, all good so far. Got the bubbles coming out of the radiator. Coolant going through. Alright, so it's all good. I was very nervous for that. One thing I didn't mention, that I put new spark plugs in it last night to help with the E85 and the supercharger, so like an upgraded, better spark plug. And that was an absolute fart around of a job. Super easy job for like a lot of cars, but on this job it was just a nightmare. I'll show you, I'll put a photo in, but the coil pack comes out right where the chassis is and it's just an absolute like a nightmare. It's not a hard job, but you have to be very patient to do it. So I did that, and I was a little bit concerned that I did a shitty job, but it was perfect. Obviously the car started, still running, so it's all good. Massive thank you to Heath from Rapatune Lurdale, absolutely saved my life. So another mechanic quoted me up $2.5 grand minimum, and they said they wanted to pull the motor out of the car to redo the timing gears, and full of timing cover off and all that stuff. Big Heath said we could do it in the car, we could have a crack at doing it ourselves, and obviously we did it and it was successful. Car's all back together. Now we just got to get off to the dyno on Monday. It's now Saturday night, so let's go.